Hi, this is Mike Sweeney from Saber Coaching, living on the edge of celebration today. One of the questions I ask when I kick off with new coaching clients is I ask them, how do you celebrate? And surprisingly, I'm often met with a blank stare, or a, I haven't thought of that before, or that seems silly. Why would I celebrate? I'm on to the next thing. I tend to work with folks who are pretty high achieving. They've got some goals and milestones, but they're intrigued by the question. And I've noticed this myself, that I'm starting to have a little bit of success in a couple different businesses, and I'm happy about that. So I decided I was going to sit down and try to celebrate. And I was like, well, all right. And I sat down and I noticed the first thing that happened is like my chest got tight. I was feeling anxious. I felt this sense of foreboding, and I felt extremely unsettled and anxious. And the things that were coming up were like, it's not enough. Can I keep this up? This like feeling of that hedonistic treadmill of like the next. And I almost felt selfish. Like, who are you to sit down and think about, how good things are going? Like, oh, what a luxurious, selfish moment. And so I started to wonder, like, why is it so hard for us to stop and celebrate? So that's where I'm on the edge of today. And here's what I'm testing, learning, and trying. The first is I can plan how it sounds. But like if you imagine a sporting event or when someone gets introduced, or the Oscars, there's like you can hear what it sounds like when people bang their hands together, or people cheer, or people hoot, or people riot in the streets after a Super Bowl. So it can sound a certain way. And so what I used to use is like I'd hear Marv Albert's voice in my head, yes, when he's announcing a game. Or I have this old Dave Chappelle skit where he's impersonating Howard Dean when he was too close to the microphone. Yeah, like that's another one. I worked with a coach years ago who encouraged me to find a physical position. So it's like a fist of like, yeah. And again, even doing it, I'm like, oh, this seems silly and indulgent. But what does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? So I started to think about that a little bit. The other thing is, when I took a couple deep breaths and I started to really notice what was going on for me, the metaphor I would use is it's almost like when you eat a hot fudge sundae. Sometimes you eat the sundae and you're just kind of eating it and you're there and great. Other times you kind of see what's on top. Is the whipped cream homemade? Is there a cherry on top? Is it one of the real ones? Is it one of the ones from those little neon red jars? What kind of ice cream is it? How do they blend together? Is there peanut butter in there? And engaging multiple senses in how it feels. So what does the accomplishment feel like? What does it mean? Really sitting in, difference between standing by the edge of the river and getting in the water and getting wet. The other is to write about it a little bit. I find sometimes when I write, a different voice comes out. So giving myself the permission to write, like, what do I feel proud about? What am I celebrating? At Rally Bright, we all have a hype button. So when we're celebrating an accomplishment as a group, we all decided what it sounds like. The other, there's a skill in coactive coaching around acknowledgement, where you are something. I can aim that toward myself. You're a good coach. You're making brave offers. You're making bold choices. You're putting yourself out there. You can do this. It looks like it's working. Good job. That's sort of acknowledging for something and giving myself a little bit of praise. I can tell someone. I can tell someone else, and who can celebrate with me. And then I've also built in addition to celebrations, built in some rewards. Last year when I reached certain milestones, I bought myself all new ski pass. Next week I'll be headed out to Utah to ski at Park City. That was another a reward built in. So mixing celebration and reward. It's okay, like we can give ourselves permission to do that. So as I'll close this piece on celebration, I'll leave you with two things. One comes from, there's a Headspace meditation that happens with the running coach at Nike. And there's a phrase he says, you have to be open to success if you want to succeed. So opening myself and encouraging clients to open themselves up to success is part of the job. And then, I know it's silly, but they did have it right in the song, where they said, celebrate good times, come on! And I hope you have a good one with that.
We're living on the edge.